Broken Complex, when I was like 18, 19, I was doing music like crazy, just in the bedroom and shit. And I had a lot of homies that were into music, in bands or just like in music one way or another. And I ended up making an album, man. I was just doing so many beats and working with so many different people. And once I was done, I was like, I want to put this out, but I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to shop for a deal. I don't want to like do all this different shit. And I just had a couple homies that were down to put some money up and start something that we could just like fully control how we did it, you know what I mean? And put out the music. And it's been super grassroots, super independent, just like a San Fernando Valley, like just family type shit, me and my homies, you know? So we've been doing that since shit, like 2000, 2004. I think the first record came out on that shit. So it's been cool, man. It's been pretty much my life, like the past 12, 13 years and shit. For the gearheads, man, like I started with MPC and a computer. So I would just like kind of like make beats on the MPC from the records and shit. And then I got into Ableton, which is just super dope software. It's real powerful and shit. And the Machine also. So I use the Ableton for all my instruments, and I use the Machine for the drums. And that's pretty much the core. I can do a lot of shit with just those two things, you know what I mean? Like, that's pretty much the core of the studio and the brain of the beats and shit. On the Stony Point project, I use nothing but Technique 1200s. Pretty much on everything I've done until now has always been Technique 1200s, but this year I did just cop the Pioneer. Pioneer just dropped a really, like, dope turntable called the PLX 1000. I copped a new setup, my first new setup I've ever had in my life. I've been DJing for like 14 years, and like everything's been like pieced together from the homies, kick downs, hand-me-downs, and I fucking got the brand new setup at home and shit, so like, I'm stoked. But that's the Pioneer setup, so Technique's gotta send me some more Techniques and all. Technique 1200s all day, but I did, you know, they discontinued them, and then Pioneer dropped some, and they sold like crazy, so that now they're coming back with them, you know what I mean? I was like, well, that's a weird move, you know what I mean? Because everybody was like, they're done, yeah, they're done. As far as the production went, I used like Ableton software, and then I used the Machine for drums, and just lay down scratching off the turntables, and that's pretty much like the core of like the record. When I'm on tour with the gear, man, the Dream Rider is, you know, 2 Technique 1200s and a Rain 57 mixer, nice and clean. Sometimes when I gotta bring my own gear, if we're traveling, we got a ton of shit, I'll bring like this little portable joint called the Vestax 380. Shout outs to DJ Ronix, he put me up on that shit, because it's just cool and simple that like, you can still scratch on it, but you could fit it in the overhead on the plane, so it's dope like that. But for the most part, yeah, man, 2 Tech 1200s and a Rain, I'm straight.
So you have that pressure of people nonstop asking you questions. When is this gonna happen? When is that gonna happen? So that's like the hardest thing of this whole game. It's doing something that no one else does and making it work.
So our saxophone player got fired by Mr. Brown. He couldn't play on the song, so he was just standing there like, okay, I guess I won't play. So at that time, like me and Raphael was just like, oh God, is he gonna tell us not to play?
I don't completely make music just to satisfy my fans, but I don't solely make music for myself either. I found a happy medium of understanding what people want to listen to and what I want them to hear.
We've been just recording and filming our journey, because I was always just a filmaholic. I was always just film, which now I'm glad I've been doing it, because we have hundreds of tapes.